All right. Today I am interviewing my own professor. Are you a doctor?
No.
All right, Mrs. Pinkerton. And we are going to start today on March 24th at 10:15 a.m. So, Miss Pinkerton, how do you define teaching and learning?
Teaching is the act of providing instruction to really anyone, adults or children. Learning is totally different. Hopefully it's the byproduct of teaching, but often it's not. So learning would be whenever you acquire a new skill or any sort of new thinking that might change previously held notions.
Awesome. Which learning theory or theories do you support and implement, and why, if you can?
I believe in constructivist education. So the whole theory behind constructivist education, it's supported by a bunch of different educational psychologists, is that students have to construct their own knowledge. So by that I mean things should be hands-on, should be collaborative. Students should have lots of opportunities to talk to each other, to formulate their own opinion. It shouldn't always be directed by an adult or an instructor.
Great. Could you explain some of the different demographics of your classrooms that you're teaching now?
Yes, so I teach in higher ed. Most of my students are in their very late teens, early 20s, and most of them want to work with young children or work in education in some regard. I would say not a lot of economic diversity. Most of them probably come from a middle class type of background for the most part. Very few of my students are married or have children. They're mostly young, single, and a very, very high percentage are women.
All right. Could you explain some of your background as an educator as far as where you started?
Yes, so I spent about 12 years in K-12 education. Most of that was with really young children. So I've worked in early intervention, children birth to age 3 in a home-based setting or in the community. And then I have taught in developmental preschool, so mostly students with special needs. I have done inclusion, so going into gen ed classrooms and working with the teachers to accommodate students with special needs.
Very good. When did you know you were going to be, I'll say, an educator?
I never wanted to be a teacher because my mom was a teacher, and why would you want to be like your mom when you grow up? So I got a degree in hotel and restaurant management for my bachelor's, and I did it for a few years, and I didn't enjoy it, but I really enjoyed working with people. So I went into my mom's classroom and started volunteering, and it kind of just went from there, and now I can't imagine not being a teacher and not getting a chance to work with people and get to know my students.
Awesome. Good. That's fun. What advice would you give a student teacher?
To be humble and try to ask lots of questions and learn from their teacher, and try to set aside some of their ideals to really learn why the teacher's doing what they're doing.
What support from your administration do you expect?
Here at ASU?
Yes, we'll go with that since that's where we're currently at.
I expect support in resources, so resources for training and professional development, sometimes physical resources if I need testing equipment or access to certain supplementary texts and those things, so I expect that kind of support. And to a large degree, emotional support. Just, sometimes you have a rough day, and it's nice when you have administrators that can give you good advice and help you stay calm and motivated along the way.
Yeah. If I did go straight into education, I'd be in administration rather than a straight teacher. And then my last question for you today is, would you consider a career in supporting research for education psychology post your teaching career?
No.
Okay. And why?
I really appreciate research, and I like being like a consumer of research and being able to share it with my students. But to actually be in the process just doesn't appeal to me. I'd much rather be, I don't know, in a more authentic setting. I feel like research is kind of inauthentic in a lot of ways.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Pinkerton. I enjoyed your interview today.